natural stone has been around forever. You know,
Stainless.
I mean, you go back to, you know, ancient ruins, everything's built out of natural stone and it lasts. I feel like natural stone as a whole, there's just been a massive resurgence. Like, it is the epitome of luxury. People are coming back to it because I feel like there was a period of time where people are really pushing towards quartz, and there's always going to be a market for that. But what can you say to, you know, how natural stone is being viewed today?
I think it's like kind of like everything in life. Everything goes back in circles.
Right.
So we're kind of like going through I would say a 20, 25 year circle when it comes about natural stone.
Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast episode. You're listening to the Home Design Podcast. My name is Adam Kayce, your host, and we aim to educate, inspire, and connect South Florida with the industry authorities within their trade. In today's podcast, we're going behind the slabs and diving into the world of natural stone and all types of slabs that we're seeing in today's design market, all with Juan Giraldo of UMI. Juan, how are you?
Man, great.
It's awesome having you here.
No, I'm very excited. I'm excited to be here today.
Absolutely. And we're seeing, I'm excited about this because we're seeing some crazy designs in today's design world. New things coming to market, things coming back, natural stone, the massive resurgence. But before we dive into all of that, I want to dive in a little bit, ask you the most challenging question of the day. Who is Juan Giraldo?
Wow. You know, as someone told me once, we're kind of a little bit of everything, right?
Right.
But I'm a father, first of all. I got 2 kids, a daughter and a girl. Man, I'm a hard-working, dedicated person. I do everything with love and passion. So for me, I would say it's love. And I'm also an athlete and a stone lover.
Okay.
So I love what I do.
So how long have you been in the stone industry?
Well, I started in the business when I was 14.
Okay.
So it's been like 26 years.
Wow. So what were you doing at 14 in stone?
So basically, when we were 14, we were here for about a year. We're immigrants. We
Originally from?
Colombia.
Okay.
So family was kind of like a struggle at that time. And we had a family friend who was opening up a shop, and his own little shop. And then I asked him for work, and I was like helping him after high school. So I was basically going to school and then helping him after works. And then I started with like from the bottom, you know, cleaning, organizing, pulling all the tools together.
Right.
And he taught me the art of fabrication. And then I fabricate, I install, I template it. So pretty much I start from the bottom of the business.
You really know every component, because there's a lot of people in the business that have only seen one side of it, and truly understanding really how it goes from a slab to completion, because all types of materials react differently. Some are softer, some are harder, some are, you know, from, you know, the engineered type products. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So you can really speak to the highest level of knowledge in the sense of the stone industry and what goes through the entire process.
Yeah, I think, and it's also a plus for what I do on my day to day.
Right.
You know, having the experience or being on the other side, you know, on the labor part. Every day I learn something new.
Absolutely.
There's so many products, so many different things, but definitely it's a plus to be, you know, on both sides of the business.
Without a doubt, because you're dealing with all components, all professionals to homeowners, people coming into your showrooms and design centers. But, you know, let's talk about UMI, because UMI has been on this trajectory that is unlike most businesses in any industry. But let's first dive into, you know, UMI as a company, where they started, where you guys are today. You know, give us a little bit of that background.
So basically the company got started by our president, Donnie DeNorcia, back in 2002.
Okay.
Donnie comes from the fabrication side as well, and then he went to the distribution part of the business. First location was in Naples, and then we went to Tampa, Orlando, and now we're 18 stores.
Wow. But not just in Florida.
No, we absolutely right now we cover on the East Coast of the country, and the company is strategically open new branches. Our newest one is going to be Sarasota, which is going to be open in the summer.
Okay, awesome. So, I mean, as far as the industry itself, did it start as a stone supply company, or was there fabrication? Like, what was the originating component?
So, yeah, basically, as I said, Donnie started on the fabrication side,
right?
And then he changed gears and went to distributor.
Okay, because you guys are dealing with some high volumes, and you're dealing with all different types of materials, and you're balancing, different elements and the different types of parts of the business, from luxury to high volume. How do you guys balance that as a corporation?
Well, I think it's a good combination of the experience that the company has. So
right.
I can break something up in here, and I'll make it fast. Is basically our leadership, our senior leadership, Donnie DeNorcia, Don Petroni. They come from the stone business,
right? So
they understand the business, they understand the stone. And it is a challenge to be able to balance between, what we're bringing in bulk compared to what is luxury, what is high end.
Right.
But I'll say that we'll try to have a good mix of different products.
Absolutely.
In our lineup.
And the most important thing is you guys deal with so many different types of professionals. There's projects that, has that certain type of product that they need, but this allows you to create relationships that last. Allows you to work with those super high-end custom luxury builders, as well as the builders that might be doing mass levels or mass amounts of homes or large scale projects or things like that. So is it safe to say that you truly are like a one-stop type destination, as far as if somebody's looking for a certain type of product, you guys have it or have easy access to it within your realm of your stores and branches?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes about from the natural stone to the engineered products, of course, the porcelain, we definitely have a good mix of different products that people can actually come and do one-stop shop.
And you guys are distributing everything from, elegant natural stone all the way to, the quartzes and the more engineered type of products, correct?
Correct. So we basically go from the basic granite, basic quartz, and then all the way up. It's natural stone, quartz, and porcelain. So it's a great mix.
Yeah.
It's a great mix of products, and we're very proud of it.
Absolutely. And when seeing all these slabs, we're seeing so many different types. You mentioned porcelain as well. It really hit in a big way for a while now, but just the evolution of that product as a whole has been really impressive, and it's incredible to see where it's already come, but really, where is it going?
That's actually, it's kind of like a dream come true, right? It's like, it's up to the imagination. The designs that we're seeing, the technology that they're using, the way the slabs are being, the things we can get out of the air, and also what we can engineer make. It's amazing.
And what's great about it is, especially, like with all the different types of applications, if somebody's using it for walls or whatever it might be, the book matches and the perfection and everything that goes into it, and you're able to really adjust the thicknesses of the slabs and based on whatever the application may be. So that way, maybe if you need a lighter slab or something heavier or more durable, you're able to have those different thicknesses and type of qualities.
Absolutely. And that's what I think it's one of the best ways to describe it, and that's the best way to present how the product and the industry have goes from the years.
Right.
And I don't know where it's going to end.
Yeah, I know, right? There's no telling.
It's fascinating.
It's been a pretty short period of time as far as from when porcelain slabs came out until today. So just giving it another 5 years, 10 years, there's no telling where it's going to go.
No.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And talking about so natural stone has been around forever. You go back to, ancient ruins, everything's built out of natural stone, and it lasts. I feel like natural stone as a whole, there's just been a massive resurgence. Like, it is the epitome of luxury. People are coming back to it because I feel like there was a period of time where people are really pushing towards quartz, and there's always going to be a market for that. But what can you say to how natural stone is being viewed today.
I think it's like kind of like everything in life. Everything goes back in circles.
Right.
So we're kind of like going through I would say a 20, 25-year circle when it comes about natural stone. We circle back in a lot of travertines, a lot of calacatas. People want something different. And now we can say that with the Quartzite has been a big push to go back to natural stones.
Right.
Because it's the most durable product you can have.
I was going to say, yeah.
Obviously, over marble and granites, and it's beautiful. It's something unique. So it goes back to having, as an end user, a developer or designer, if you want to call, having the opportunity to have something unique. And I think that's the beauty of the natural stone.
And also natural stone, there are families of what that stone is, but every piece is unique to itself.
Correct.
There's only one of that slab. There are variations of it, but to truly have something one of a kind, unique, and just the different things that we're seeing today. I feel like we didn't see it years back. It's obviously always existed. It's natural stone. It's not being altered by man-made. But what can you say to even whether it's discovery or just where they're quarrying these products and everything, as far as these different variations in colors and types that we're seeing today?
I think it goes back to the technology. So basically, how do we quarry some of those materials? How do the companies quarry some of those materials? Like right now, we get a lot of materials for like underwater.
Really?
Yeah. Like a lot of quartzites come from like underwater.
Wow.
We've been being able to access
in any area of the world in particular.
No, basically, you go if you go to Europe and you go to India, Brazil, those are our main ones when it comes to natural stone.
Okay.
And that's what really helps. What really helps to get different products.
Absolutely.
Access those places.
I didn't realize, as far as a lot, because you see images of like these quarries on a mountainside or things like that. Mm-hmm. But, it makes sense as far as quartzite being underwater and how the elements really go into the material.
Yeah, like the quartzite, it's a metaphorical minerals that actually are involved in the product. So basically, what water creates the pressure. And that's how the quartzite has been built, by pressure.
That's amazing, which goes to the fact because quartzite is, beautiful product, but amazing for outdoor spaces. Absolutely. As well. Because, if someone's building an outdoor kitchen and, there's a lot of pros and cons to all different types of materials, but quartzite, and thinking about how it's actually made and the fact that, it's being compressed by water and all the minerals and everything that goes into it, it's made for outdoors. Every material it's natural to outdoors, but this in particular.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And it's one of the biggest sellers when it comes to quartzite. It's being able to use in any type of applications, indoor, outdoor. We just go back in time.
Right.
Going back in time.
In stone, these stones and these quarries, it's thousands of years of these materials being created.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, there are some quarries that still get like the Carraras out of the same quarries where Michelangelo was.
Oh my God!
So. Just put it that way.
That's incredible. Do they charge a premium for that?
I don't really know the answer of it.
This stone came from this quarry. No, but talking about that and the international influence and everything like that, because, talking about trends in design, the whole point of trends, they come, they go. It's like a marketing scheme to make sure there's always something coming back. But are we seeing much of a difference between the U.S. and European markets or other parts of the world when it comes to trends and products that are being used?
I think it's just being able to understand the culture, right? So I would say that as an Americans, we like everything to be shiny, perfect. We like easy maintenance. Something that is durable, right? Compared to Europeans, where they're used to seeing, marbles in churches for like 500, years or plus, and they're used to like the deterioration of the product. How the product would be easy to scratch or age or anything, and they see it as a beauty of a product, right? Compared to us. We also seen a thickness difference, like a lot of places in Europe, they use the 2 centimeters.
Okay.
Just pure 2 centimeters, no lamination. Compared to us, we're right now, the standard is 3 centimeters.
Right.
And then obviously we sell the 2 centimeters for like more high end or miter edges and stuff like that, wall applications.
Right.
Also, when it goes about like, let's say South America and stuff like that, you have to start by Brazil.
Right.
Right. Brazil is the mecca of the granite. right? Granites and quartzite.
Right.
So you see a lot of granite down in South America that is being used. But we also seen a good trend of engineered products going in there. Like,
Okay.
you know, the Quarries. There's some acrylic solid surfaces as well.
Really?
They're becoming more and more popular in South America.
Would you say because it has more of a contemporary, is it true that there's more contemporary? I mean, obviously in markets like that, I mean, you see a lot of those elements coming out of Brazil and just in the fabrication of all types of furnishings and materials and things like that are coming here from, you know, areas like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, being able to and have the access to some of those products.
Right.
You know,
Oh, no. I mean, it's like a natural resource for, you know, all natural elements from, you know, the hardwoods to stones to everything.
absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, when going into, you know, there's, you know, we're talking builders, there's designers, there's all different types of people that are working with material, homeowners. But when you look at custom home builders and truly custom, and we're really fortunate, you know, here in South Florida, we see some of these most spectacular custom homes that are being designed and really pushing the envelope of what today's design is. Are you seeing anything, or are you getting any asks from these builders as far as, you know, for them to differentiate their properties, their projects that they're working on from, you know, mass level, or are there any trends in that world?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're seeing like a good trend where a lot of custom builders, they're actually going back like a starting package of like basic cores.
Right. Oh, really?
You know, compared to years where we're like, you know, basic granites and stuff like that. Right now going through basic cores. And then little by little, we're seeing some builders going into the porcelain slabs.
Okay.
So they want to do future walls. They want to do like fireplaces. They want to do stair walls and stuff like that. And they also, you know, the applications of outdoor kitchens. One other thing that we seen, and then with the porcelain slabs, is being able to, you know, have tiles on the different sizes.
Right.
Pretty much cut the size to any size that the customer wants.
Absolutely.
And then what also we've been seeing, and some of the builders are working hand to hand with these customer designers. They're open their books. You know, they're bringing the designer in. They let the designer pick.
Right.
So, and it goes back, right, to where we are in Florida. You know, we have a lot of people from different states, from different countries and stuff like that. And then it's what makes a difference, variation, color, selections, and different things.
No, absolutely. And that's what really makes, I mean, South Florida in particular, probably one of the most unique markets in the world, because we have people from all over the world. I mean, whether we're talking Eastern Europe, if we're talking about Southeast Asia, if we're talking about, you know, South America, I mean, all over, from Canada. I mean, we have all of these different likes and what they see in other markets that they're bringing their design styles here. So, you know, it is just a complete mix, and you must get a lot of different requests and a lot of different, you know, desires for what they want in their homes.
We do, you know, we have a big diversity of customers, you know, for that same reason.
Right.
Where we are in Florida. And it's, you know, sometimes even you can actually see it almost by territory. Like
Right.
if you go down to Miami and you're speaking like, you know, a lot of millennials, you know, younger buyers,
Right.
and they want the exotics, they want the purple, the blues, the greens, right? And then you go up to Palm Beach where you have the classic people, where you have the calacatas, the softer marbles.
Right.
You go back to the mysterious, you know, tassels and colors like that. So you can actually see different trends in the same market.
In the markets, right. Well, yeah, because it is really close, but different people and what they want, even style homes and things like that.
Absolutely.
But would you say like is there like a marble in particular that you say that you would suggest is not necessarily the safest, but one that just doesn't go out of style as far as like, you know, because if you use a big bold color, I mean that could you could change your mind down the road. You might be tired of the color. It might not fit your aesthetic. But is there one in particular that you would say like hands down, this will always be in style no matter what you do? Calicata. Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of variations in the Calicata. There's a lot of products on the name of Calicata, but you know, the Calicata Viola will always be there.
Okay.
Calicata Gold will always be there. Borghini will always be there. Those stones are like timeless. They'll be here to stay.
And the amazing thing is these materials really go with any design aesthetic. You know, it's not really just for traditional or just contemporary. I mean, it truly can be mixed into any design aesthetic, especially in today's design where we're getting much more of the organic design, you know, more of the wood tones, the neutrals, like things like that.
Absolutely. You know, and since it's such a unique product and it's specific, then it goes back to where the blocks that we can get and the lots we can supply, and every lot will look different. So you might find, under the same name, a completely different block that is going to work for a different type of project.
In talking about that, I want to dive into when we're talking about lots, like you deal with lots all day long. But for the people who are listening that don't understand or unsure of, what a lot means, or, when selecting material, because, it comes from the quarry and you guys are selecting blocks, all of these different things when you're working with these quarries. Just break it down. What is the lot and what does that process look like?
So we actually divide it in 3 different things. So it starts with the block.
Okay.
Right, we take the block on the quarry, and that block is considered a lot. That block gets separated in slabs, and then that's what we call a bundle, usually on 3 centimeters, about 7 to 8 slabs.
Okay.
And then 2 centimeters, 10 to 12 slabs. That's a bundle, and then the same lot. So the lot, it's, go back, is the block.
Okay.
So that's why if a block will give us, let's say, 100 slabs, you're not going to see a lot of difference between a slab 1 to a slab 100.
Okay.
And that's the same lot. When we go to the next bundle, that's a completely different lot. And that's where, we see a lot of variations on the products.
Veining and everything will be different. Coloration will be different. I mean, it could be completely different because all of these blocks are being influenced by natural elements, whether it's weather, density, whatever it might be. So it could be completely different on one block versus another.
Correct. I usually have a picture of my office where we have it's a whole mountain, and what it is on the top, you can see how white and how light the slabs are, and then down through the middle will start getting darker, and you can start seeing like big black veins and stuff like that through the same product.
Right.
It's the same quarry, same product. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that, like, but how come, this looks white and this looks gray and this looks black, and that's what makes the product unique.
So question, when you're looking at that, is there like at a certain point it's now a different material, or is it all like, how does that work? Because
there's actually quarries that actually can get like 2 or 3 different products for the same one time.
Okay.
Like there's some quarries where you can get like calacatas, and then from the other side you can get Carraras or different stuff like that.
That's amazing because, when you're looking at it, does one mountain give you everything of the same and you go to another one, it's different. But because, the selection of the material and even choosing, I'm sure you guys have been working with the same quarries for a long time, and you guys have gone through the vetting process, and you've gone through, how to select the best quarries, because you must have incredible partnerships with them. But how do you go through that process? Like, are you guys always discovering new quarries and creating new relationships, or?
No, to be honest with you. So, Donnie, our president, had an amazing relationship with the vendors through the years. We over 25 plus years in the business,
right,
alone. And it's amazing how he actually travels to some of those quarries and see, like, sometimes it's just the same vendor and they just bought up different pieces of land, and they get different blocks, and they call us up and say, hey, we just opened up this quarry or this side of the quarry, and look at what we got. And that's how we kind of like get new products.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
And when going into that, because we hear all day long about sustainability efforts and things like that, obviously natural stone is one of the most sustainable products that you can possibly have. It's 100% natural. Mm-hmm. What goes into, I guess, the proper way to mine material or to quarry the material itself? Because, there's a ton of energy that goes into it. A lot of people don't realize, all the energy and, for years it was always fossil fuels and things like that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you guys specifically look for to make sure that the quarries that you work with are also doing their part and making sure that the process is sustainable?
Well, some of the things that we feel proud of is basically a lot of our products are completely green.
Okay.
And then on top of that, there's countries, like, it actually kind of goes back to like the countries and regions where we get in. But like, for example, Brazil, if you have a quarry, you have to kind of like create plans, and you have to go and work and do reforestation, and
right,
you have to be a big part of, like, the whole environment, taking care of the environment. And that makes us feel so good.
Right.
Because every time we work with a quarry, as I'm saying, or we're a vendor, we know that by law, that quarry is being required to help, and to make sure that everything they're doing it the right way.
Right. No, absolutely. Because, if you remove everything, what's going to be left? So it
Correct.
has to be done in a responsible way. And I mean, you're working with partners from all over the world, but going back to that design process, because now that we know, how the blocks are and the bundles, and just making sure that all the lots and everything align. Like if you're working with a project, you don't want to have, two different slabs from different lots and things like that. It just doesn't match up. But remodeling, designing, building a home, like it's not like people do this every single day. People are working with designers, they're working with home builders, they're working with contractors. But to remove the part that's like intimidating or overwhelming for people, where do you suggest for people to start? Like if they're working with a professional, should they just rely on the professional, or should they be going to showrooms? I mean, what does that design process look like?
I think so. A lot of our customers nowadays, with the access of social media and internet and stuff,
Right.
they're learning more, and then we've seen that people come to us with a lot of more knowledge of what we used to seeing. But I would say do the research, take the time, investigate what products you're going to be using. Obviously, our goal is not only to be a distributor, but also to be a partner and be a friend, where we like to educate.
Right.
Educate for us is a big part of our business, something we feel very proud of it. So any customer can come to any of our branches. We'll make sure we educate that customer to help them with the selection, making sure that they'll make the best selection they can for their projects.
Because also when it goes into the selection, it's whoever, if you have one of your team members that's working with an individual and they just don't know much about everything, they know what they like, but they have different uses. It might be for a countertop in their kitchen. It could be for a backsplash. It could be for floors. It could be for an outdoor kitchen. It could be, there's so much that goes into it. What steps does your team take to really get to know the customer and understanding like what the product might be being used for?
So as I always tell my people, the people that work inside or outside, just take a minute and listen to the customer, right. Listen to what they want. So it's kind of like sad somehow to seeing like when it comes about countertops, we kind of like the last phase of a project, right? Yeah. So, first you go maybe the floor, you're building a whole house, or you're just remodeling a house, and then every time you do a tear up, you're going to start having issues. So by the time a lot of our customers come to us,
they're already frustrated.
They're frustrated to a limit. And it's kind of like upset to see customers like walking into us, and instead of enjoying the process,
right?
Like, we seen that like some people just want to get kind of like out, just want to pick a color and be out instead of just like taking the time. So my suggestion to us is, as we tell the customers, don't settle. Take the time, take the time to come to us to help you understand, to, give you all the information that you need for every product, and then take the time to, make the selections.
Absolutely. Because, a piece of stone, it's like a work of art.
Absolutely.
You get to have a piece of art as a countertop, as a wall. It could be a bookmatch slabs, going up a fireplace. It could be staircase. It could be, there's so many different elements. There's so many textures. Talking about textures, what are the different finishes and things like that are being used, say for countertops? Is there a finish that you would say, do not do this?
So no, basically right now, the most common ones are polish,
okay,
horn, and leather.
Okay.
Years back, we used to have flame brooch. Here and there, we see some sandblasters and stuff like that. We are able to do pretty much any finish. Like even if our designer or architect or end user come to us and say, "Hey, I want this specific finish," we'll be able to go some of those quarries and do it for them. But in general, what we carry, it's polished leather and horn.
Okay.
And then it goes back to the taste of the customer. Obviously, if you're going to be doing an outdoor kitchen, for example, we'll try to suggest a leather material compared to polish.
Okay. For any reason in particular?
South Florida.
Okay.
South Florida. It's very hot, very humid.
Right. So with a leathered finish, it's it adjusts or adapts better to the outdoor elements, or doesn't get stained as easily?
Well, actually, a lot of the duration of the product's losing the polish of the product.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's
when
true.
you have a leather.
Yeah, you're not going to lose it.
You're not going to lose it.
That makes sense.
Worry about it.
That makes sense because, I mean, if you have it indoors, obviously it's easier to maintain and take care of. But if you have it outdoors, and that could be, something that a piece of information just as simple as that is not passed on to the end user as far as why not use polish? I love polish. Well, this is what will happen, and we may as well just pick a slab that you're going to love and be happy with it. That will not change.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I know as far as different things that we're seeing and how materials are being used. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about the natural stones or if we're talking about, the engineered products or porcelain products. I want to talk about that wow factor because that is something that we're seeing more and more. So we work with a lot of builders and designers, and we film these amazing projects all over South Florida. I mean, $40 million homes, just crazy, like design elements that you don't just see anywhere, but how they're using stone is just absolutely incredible in the use cases. What are you guys seeing as far as like when, whether it's a homeowner or a designer or someone comes in and say, listen, like this is the application that we're looking for. I want this to be a work of art. Is there any of those projects that stand out or types of applications or types of products that really are, fitting, what that wow factor is for these homes?
So right now, that's kind of like one of the biggest things while porcelain has been going and becoming more and more popular because you get those wow factors. You have, a material that's going to be easy maintenance, weight purpose as well. It's lighter than a natural stone.
Right.
And it gives us our colors, but, a lot of customers want the natural stones. And we're still seeing like products like the onyx.
Okay.
Like onyxes,
backlit and things like that.
Correct. Onyxes, cristallos, and cristallos in different background of cristallos, like the gold ones and the blue ones and the pink ones. So when people thinking about a cristallo, they're thinking about it like a white plain cristallo.
Right.
There's many options in the same family group. It's kind of like an onyxes, right? And that's what we're seeing right now. That is going back. One other thing that we're seeing coming back 40 years, I would say, is travertines.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, they went out for a period of time. I mean, but travertine, especially for outdoor, I mean, it lasts and it's cool. It doesn't, get really
Timeless,
hot.
Like the Colosseum in Rome, it's travertine.
Yeah, that's right. Safe to say, we can just go back to like Roman times, see what they used, and that is something that will be
Correct.
that will last forever.
As long as they do the right applications,
right?
Because that's what I say. Like, the way the materials are installed is a big factor in our industry. For example, when you go to Europe and you go to like Italy and you go some of the churches, their floors are installed for 400 years.
Right.
How do they install it?
That's
They're
right.
not going anywhere.
So what was their trick? What did they do? Is there anything that like a homeowner or a builder, like, because people, outsource different services and things like that. Is there something that a homeowner or anybody should ask an installation company as far as like what their process is? Is there any like, guideline of questions that people should ask?
So absolutely. I would say the best contractors, they're well educated and they partner with the association like the Tile of America.
Yep.
They have a lot of, tons of literature and information where you can educate yourself. I would say, if I were to be doing my own house, will be doing my own floor, I would go there,
right?
Go to their website and see the process. And
exactly.
I would challenge my contractors like, hey, I read this article. How do you install, 3/4 tiles, marble? Are you using the same product? All the information is up there for people to learn.
Right. There's nothing to hide. And that's great that you mentioned that, because associations are not just for the industry. Associations are educators for everybody. Absolutely. Because honestly, these associations, the purpose of them is to keep the industry honest. And I mean, we work really closely with like the NKBA and the ASID and the AIA and all these great organizations and great people where they feel like their message is kind of lost because homeowners don't know to go to them. But it's so important. And that's a valuable point because, you know, there's a lot of sources online. I mean, you just open up Google or go to ChatGPT and it tells you how to do everything. But how do you know to trust the source?
Correct.
And by going to these associations, they are the source. They're dictating, you know, the latest practices, continuing education, everything that people should know.
Yeah. And, you know, and let me make it kind of like a stop in there and mention something as a company and personal wise. We like to promote the excellent.
Right.
We work so hard with so much love and passion. So go back to our leadership, where we start. People lose leadership in the company, and that's what really deviates for other companies, because we understand the products. There's people with way more experience than me, like Bobby, Donnie, Don, Tiago, Kay. And we're really passionate. We want people to come to our branches and ask the questions. Believe it if you buy it or not. Ultimately, our goal is to obviously generate revenue and sell, but we want to make sure that homeowners will come to our branches and go back to our house and they feel comfortable. They feel like they learn something.
Right.
Like the investment they're doing, it's with a purpose. And it's the same thing. That's what the associations are for. And people believe they're just for professionals, and it's not. You know, the end is for the end user, and it's there. So
absolutely. And that's entire, like everything you just said, like that's our entire goal. It's, you know, people and brands are the authority in their trade. They are the masters of what they do. They should have the most amount of knowledge. So if you're working with somebody that is uncertain, it's okay to acknowledge the fact that you might not know something, but it's a matter of admitting it and not just trying to fake it to try to get through the process, make a sale. You guys are truly focused on the educating process because you want people, when that purchase is made, that there's no other questions, there's no doubt, they are excited about what they have. And that's something that I feel like is so rare in every industry today because everyone's so focused on the sale. But what happens after is where the relationship starts.
Absolutely. And that's how we've been creating loyalty with some of our customers. And that's why we've seen customers like coming back to us 10 years. And how I do my house 10 years ago, I want to come back to you guys.
Right.
Oh, amazing. That means we did it right.
That's the biggest compliment you can have. Right.
We did it right the first time. And this basically has a beauty. That's what we want to see in our branches. That's what we want to see in our people.
Without a doubt. And also, like, you know, people are sitting around the dinner table, you know, with friends, with family. That's when people are talking about, oh, I'm thinking about doing this to my home, or I'm building a home, or whatever. And those experiences are what gets passed through, because a great experience is something that someone will never forget.
Yeah. And one thing that I absolutely love, and some of our customers that I work with, as a branch manager, we do so many things, right? And we're pretty busy. I don't have a lot of chances to see my customers day to day. But I love when a customer pick up the phone and call me and be like, hey, Juan, I got this project going on, man. I don't know. It's this vendor, it's this product. Can you let me know what it is?
Right.
Can you explain it to me? Like, or where can I get it? And it's, I want to be the first contact. And for that reason, because I want to make sure that anything that any of our customers are doing, or any of my customers is doing, is done with a purpose. Right. And it's doing it the right way.
Absolutely. And being that source. I mean, you guys are the source.
Absolutely. That's part of my name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
UMI the source?
Yeah, UMI the source.
What else do we not know about UMI that we shouldn't be talking about?
there's many things.
Yeah. Where do you see UMI in the next 5 years? I mean, where are we going with it?
We're just growing.
Yeah.
We're just growing, and we're going the right way. We're doing it the right, you know, sometimes we're going the right way, and we're doing it the right way as well. It just, I feel very proud when I joined UMI, because I come from different corporations where it was all corporate.
Right.
What really makes a difference, and sorry, I might say this again and probably said it 10 times, is our leadership. Everybody gets so involved in every aspect, and everybody you talk to, starting from my side, all the way up, all the way down, we care so much. We love so much.
Right.
And then we all put in an extra effort to see the company grow. And this, what we're seeing is right now we're 18. Probably we're going to be 23.
That's incredible.
We're going to go to the East Coast. We don't know. We're seeing the company as the sky is the limit. And we're very proud of it.
No, that's incredible, because to your point, it all starts with the people. You're only as good as the person next to you. And if you have a great team, that is the foundation. If everyone's on the same path and they have the same mission and they're going in the same direction and they're passionate about it, there's nothing better. And I can see that. I've known you for a while, but how you speak about the company, how you speak about the passion of educating and going through the process and spending the time with people and being on board with leadership, with everybody involved on every single level of the company. It's really impressive. And, not many people take a moment to really acknowledge the process or the people that have brought a business there versus, just we have great products. We're the best. It's easy to say you're the best, but to show you're the best is different.
And absolutely, we will never sacrifice quantity over quality. We would do our best to look for that excellence for every aspect, customer service, products. And not a lot of companies, as a branch manager out of 18 locations, you can just pick up the phone and talk to your president.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
Many times you need it during the day.
That's awesome.
Or any customer can actually have an open conversation with him.
That's amazing.
And it's a big difference.
So it's safe to say there's no telling where UMI is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years because that trajectory is just unlike anything else.
I think we're just starting.
But what can you say about the stone industry? Where's the stone industry going? I mean, are there things that we're anticipating that are going to become more popular or change in, I guess, the technology as far as how things are? I mean, whether it's the process or where do you think the stone industry itself is going? Because it's an ancient industry, but the evolution is incredible.
Well, as a stone lover, it's fascinating to me seeing the natural stone going back.
Right.
Going back, as I'm saying, more than 20 years ago where we started, or where I started. It's fascinating to see how products are coming up. And the fact that we get in the Quartzite and we're getting all these new products in different styles like Dolomite, soft Quartzite for different applications. It's what's helping the business to come back. I think that's where the big push is. And I think there's things to stay. And I would say Quartzite is here to stay.
Okay.
I can't speak any more about Quartzite, but obviously the grinders are there, marbles are there, but nowadays the quartzes are here to stay, and that's what's going to help you, and that's what's going to drive the business through the years. And that unique selection, that unique product that you can have.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a type of stone, Dolomite. We've been hearing it more and more. Are you able to describe Dolomite briefly, just as far as like what it is and how it compares to the other products?
Absolutely. So basically, there's a lot of confusion on the market when it comes about soft Dolomite, when it comes about soft Quartzite, Dolomites, and stuff like that. Everything goes back to how the product is being actually made through the years, right? What makes a difference is the main mineral in the Dolomites, it's calcium magnesium.
Okay.
So it's a soft material. That's why Dolomites react like a marble. They can stay, they can age easily.
Okay.
Compared to, through Quartzite, which is coarse.
Right.
So the most durable product. And that's what really is the difference is the main mineral on the Pioneer product.
Are you seeing more people selecting Dolomite, or you still think, obviously Quartzite, if they're looking side by side, which way are most people going, Dolomite or Quartzite?
A lot of people comes for the Dolomites.
Yeah.
Because obviously you get those whites.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
And then they probably heard for other vendors, they probably heard for other people saying like, yeah, go get a white Quartzite. It calls Dolomite.
Right.
Sorry, it's a soft.
It's not the same, right? Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not going to behave the same. And then it started changing gears
right.
through the Quartzite because they were really.
Absolutely.
But one thing that I'm seeing, especially in like the younger crowd, when you're talking about the 30s, the 40 years old, the millennials, they're okay with marbles.
Right. Absolutely.
And they buy marble.
No, because there's something to be said, and I truly believe that natural stone, the marbles, like those are truly luxury elements. Mm-hmm. And when you're looking at the grand scheme of the design and everything that goes into it, there's areas to splurge in the design process. And when you look at stones and when you look at those finishes and, having that incredible countertop, waterfall edge, however it's, obviously fabricated, it stands out like nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely is. And as I mentioned before, It's up to the imaginations. Yes, sometimes we have to educate the designers and kind of like,
Right.
okay, hold on, like, you're going too wild now, but let us
Reel them back a little.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's basically what the customer imagined.
Right. That's amazing. Just to go back and to, 3 questions that everybody must ask when they go into the process. Are there a few questions that when somebody goes into this process, just to reiterate what we've already discussed, 1, 2, 3, what are those 3 questions that everyone should know when they go into this process?
That everyone should know when it goes through this process. Wow, that's kind of like a
or like should they know their likes, the use case, like as far as like how they're using the space, like what are those 3 things that people should know that helps decide what product?
I would say let's go back to what customers should know when they come into a stone place.
That's perfect.
Right? Well, let's go back what they should bring. Right. So we ask people to come prepare, and to bring samples of your cabinets, your tile, your paint. So a lot of times we have customers that walk in there with pieces of furniture. That's what help you, narrow the selection. And then in our end is basically present to you every product that it is for you to make the choice. If you're working with a professional, obviously your conversation should be with first conversation you have with the architect and designers for the application part of it. But when you come to us, just come prepared and come with time,
right,
and enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's I believe I'm a hardly believer in energy, and I've been trying to actually get out of the business so many times in my life,
right.
And it keeps bringing me back. And I would say it's the energy. When you walk in somewhere places, like people don't realize when they work our branches how many options we have, how many materials, and the amount of energy goes in a place like a natural stone branch, and just take the time and enjoy the process.
Right. No, it's incredible because to your point, when people think they know what they want, but when you start working with a professional or one of your members of the team and you're showing cabinets and you're showing pictures of the design aesthetic and things like that, you might have something that they're not even imagining. So
Absolutely.
It's so important to know what you want, but also show a professional what you're working with, because they've seen it all. And that's clearly, you have seen it all, from fabrication to installation to sourcing to all components of the stone industry. Yep. And it's impressive. All right, so we're gonna dive into this quick fire round.
Oof.
Quick questions, top of mind, whatever comes to mind first.
All right.
So we're talking about favorite stones. All right, we're gonna start with that. Favorite stone for a modern kitchen?
Oof. I would say the Cristallos. Cristallos are great. You can backlight it and stuff like that. Whatever. You never go wrong with a Quartz.
Right.
It's modern. It's sophisticated. You get the white looks. But right now you're seeing a lot of Cristallos.
All right. For a luxury bathroom?
This is where the Dolomites and marbles can absolutely can be a big play.
Absolutely. Fireplace?
Personal?
Yeah.
Porcelain.
Is there any concern as far as a fireplace surround, like if there's a heat element?
Well, yeah, and that's actually where porcelain can be a great product. You need about 3,000 degrees to curate porcelain.
Okay.
So,
that's a good point.
your house fireplace is not going to do anything to a product alone. And as well as natural stone, usually not going to affect the product. But I would say for weight purposes, insulation purposes, and stuff like that, personal, I go with the
porcelain. No, it's amazing. All right. So now getting into like different things that you've experienced in your years. What would you say is the craziest client request?
Well, we had a client buy like 3 different blocks to do a 5-slab kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And basically just let the rest of the material sit in. He even went to the quarry himself, pick up the blocks.
Wow. Pre-selected. I mean, is this someone that's done it before, or were they just so particular?
They were so particular. Like this guy's wife was looking for a specific material for 5 years that it got to a point that he was so frustrated. He just like, all right, let's buy blocks. Let's buy blocks and let's see what we can get.
That's
and
amazing.
That's how to make it happen.
So were they building a house or remodeling? I
They
mean,
were building a house. They were building their dream house.
That's
here in
amazing.
Palm Beach.
Incredible. Most jaw-dropping project that you've ever seen from material purchase with you?
Recently I saw something that absolutely, speechless was, a quartzite pool.
Wow.
They did
Slabs?
They did the whole pool on a green quartzite. Bottom of the pool walls, the surroundings, everything was quartzite.
How many slabs?
I would say at least 20.
Wow.
It was the stairs.
And a slab is how big?
Typically? Those were like 130 by 75.
Wow. That's incredible. Would you say that statement pieces are the future? I mean, do you think people are going to continue going bold?
Yeah, we actually seen that, we're seeing that all the time. We're seeing a lot of combinations as well. We've seen a lot of customers that are like coming and do like tops with quartz and, bachelors with natural stone or bachelors with porcelain.
Okay.
They're people is absolutely looking for that wow factor, and like done a lot of apartments down like A1A Miami area where everything is white,
right? And
they're looking just for one specific product to be like the wow factor,
the feature piece. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And just to bring up, Bookmatch Slabs. What's your feeling on Bookmatch Slabs? Where's your favorite place to put it? Like, Bookmatch is something we hear about more and more and more, and we're seeing these incredible installations.
So there's actually one more thing to adapt the Bookmatch, and not a lot of people it's aware of it. It's a diamond match.
Okay. Oh,
so it's basically what it is you can bookmatch the two slabs, and you can bookmatch two on top. So you basically can match like 4 or 6 or 8 different slabs.
That's incredible. How many slabs have you seen diamond
4
matched? Wow. That's incredible. How high of a ceiling do you need for that? You need a big wall, first of all.
We absolutely did. It was a commercial application, a hotel, and then it was a whole wall.
Wow.
Like slab on top of slab.
That's incredible. And to be able to do that, I mean, the installation, they must have reinforcements and things because these are heavy slabs.
Yeah.
Like how to install it, you need to make sure, obviously, you're working with the right professional.
Yeah, absolutely. And right nowadays with all the tools and the stuff they have, it's so much helpful. But I would say the Bookmatch is one of the best things that we have because we can do those, large pieces almost seamless.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it.
It's amazing. It's incredible. So we've discussed a lot today. We've gone through every process. We've really dove into who UMI is, the sourcing process, design elements, types of product, definition of product, how to select, how to work with a professional. Is there anything that we missed that you want to bring insight to or just address?
And I would say I always try to go with a good source. I always try to go with it. I would say something that I would tell the homeowners and end users is go to a good source. If you want to start with us, go to our website. There's a lot of good information on our website, social media and stuff like that. And just pick up the phone and call us.
Absolutely. And to that point, people do business with people.
Absolutely.
Brands are great. Corporations are great. There's a foundation to all, but get to know who you're working with because ultimately that's the relationship. And, that's why I love what we do. We bring people together and it's who you're working with.
Absolutely. And that's what motivates me, day to day because we have different products and it's nice to meet so many people and in the industry, out of the industry, and been able to help. Like I wish I can see every project we put stone on it.
Absolutely. And, hey, I was going to say that must be inspiration every single day.
Absolutely.
People are pushing the envelope and looking to do more.
Now when you're doing your own house.
Yeah.
Now when you're doing your own house.
Absolutely.
We'll start getting challenges.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it doesn't matter if you're in the industry or not. Once you apply it to yourself, it's definitely more challenging.
It's a whole different area.
Which is why you guys understand and going through the process and making sure it's as easy and seamless as possible.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, and I would say either between the couples, you know, you might see, the husband like black and she likes white, And
you turn into psychologists.
pretty much. It's like, that's why we say like, just stop and listen to a customer and try to make it happen.
Absolutely. And for our listeners who would like to learn more, and where should they go to learn more about UMI?
So I can go to umistone.com on our website, and obviously you can also come to one of our branches and just ask the questions, and you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. And which branch can they find you at mostly?
In Boynton.
In Boynton Beach.
I'm in Boynton. I handle our Boynton location, covers almost pretty much for South Latona to the Keys and the Caribbean.
That's amazing. So, make sure that you reach out to Juan and his team. I mean, they are absolutely incredible. Obviously, all the information that you gave us today, can't thank you enough. But for all of you who are listening, I appreciate you guys tuning in on this one, because, learning the information directly from the professionals, from the authority in the trade, and learning about brands and what you should know and what you should look out for when you go into this process. That's what the Home Design Podcast is all about. But for all of you, we are South Florida's premier destination for everything home design and home improvement. Visit the home design and remodeling shows in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach. You can check out our website at homeshows.com. Always give us a like, give us a follow at FL Home Shows. Subscribe to our channel to get all of the latest in home design and home improvement. But until next time, stay tuned for the next episode.